Okay guys, Mickey here. Welcome back to the channel. If it's first time joining us, hello to you. So part 3 of the HSD ME-262. This is the Maiden. What a cool jet. I have to say I'm well impressed with the 262. Does it have certain things which you should be thinking about? Of course. Just like with any warbird or any jet, it does have its own little quirks. First to mention would be the EDFs. They're both spinning in the same direction. So what does that do? That causes a roll or a torque moment on it. And I think it goes to the right, so you're right. So just be aware of that, especially at low speeds when you're increasing throttle, that you're going to have to keep on that rudder like you would any other warbird really. You're going to have to keep on that rudder to sort of counter that. Is it a big deal? No. It would be great if they had counter-rotating, and for those of you out there that have 90mm EDF fans, you know, you may have a set there you can install into this one that are counter-rotating, just to sort of alleviate that P factor. Not a big deal though, it's still flyable, it still flies really well. Another thing to consider is the tyres on it are really hard, like super hard. Almost like solid blocks of rubber. So, I mean, is it a big deal? Well, if you're coming in for a landing and you're coming in a bit hot, you know, it's going to bounce. So you may want to look at some of the aftermarket manufacturers out there to see if they have something that'll fit it. HSD are really cool about it, where they actually molded in the wheel size. I think it's 80mm. I think that's printed on there, so something to consider. The other thing is, even though it's a twin and it's wide and you have those big nacelles, it's slippery. It takes quite a bit to slow down. Not only that, it's got a lot of weight behind it. So you got all that weight, plus it's slippery to slow down when you're on your downwind for landing. So be prepared for that. Get it set up and configured on the downwind as you normally would, using your throttle to control your descent. Set up like a normal landing, but just be aware that it's going to carry a bit more speed than probably what you're used to if you've been flying any of the like 90mm or even 80mm jets from Freewing, FMS, those kind of manufacturers. She'll come in hot. So, you know, you've got to consider those factors. How slippery it is, those hard tyres, all that weight, and then the throws in it are a bit too coarse, as Yoda's mentioned. But that's all down to personal preference as far as your throws. I mean, you may like large throws, you may like small throws, but all these things combined can lead to potentially a very bad landing that could, you know, throw out retracts and damage your aircraft, which obviously we don't want you to do. And the other thing to consider is the CG. The 145 to 150, we still found that tail heavy. The elevator was super sensitive with that. Even with the gyro and the small movements, you know, and the gyro dumbing it down a bit, it's still quite active on that elevator. I would recommend going to 140mm and then working your way from there. The last thing, and probably the coolest thing about it, was it has this really unique howl to it. I referred to the F-18 having a similar sort of howl, and it wasn't until, you know, I started thinking about it. No, I mean, even though the F-18 has that really distinct howl, the only other thing I can think of that's similar to this sort of howl is if you've seen a Hawker Hunter coming in at high speed, it has what we call a blue note. Basically it's a resonance somewhere and it creates this howl, and this is just what that ME-262 sounds like. To get that to howl, you'll notice that it's when you're coming off the power. So you're at full, you're at full or 3/4, and you're backing off and the plane starts to slow down, but there's no sort of real push. That's when it starts to get this howl. On the second video, you'll notice it on the downwind, I make mention of it, and then Yoda comes in from the right, low pass, and then comes up and then does I think it's an Immelman or a Cuban 8, I don't know, I'm not an aerobatics instructor. On the downward, he's backed off the power, and that's when you can really hear this howling noise.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. If it was mine, I'd be doing it all the time. But overall initial thoughts, you know, we were well impressed with it. The build quality, the finish, the flying of it. It's quirky, but you know, it's such an iconic shape. It's such an iconic jet. It is as big in the air as it is on the ground. It's super impressive all around. Yoda has been messaging me through the week with some nondescript photos of some modifications he's doing to it. It looks like pretty significant changes that'll hopefully get a really good experience out of the whole aircraft, and we can pass it on to you guys. So if you are considering purchasing a ME-262 from HSD, then you may consider wanting to do these changes. But overall, the jet is a remarkable jet. Yoda's been saying to me, get a jetty radio so I can jump on to his aircraft, and this is probably one that I would really make the change for. So if you're thinking about it, guys, or you're kind of half considering, want to know some more information, call Steve from OzStars. The link will be in the description below. They carry the HSD product here in Australia, so be sure to check them out. He's a really nice guy, he's really friendly, and like I said, he knows his stuff. And when this 262 came out, Yoda, before I could even think about it, Yoda was already jumping onto it. Well, guys, I think that'll just about do it for now. We'll come back at a later point with a final video, final thoughts, final review, and some setup tips. See what Yoda's done with his one to pass on to you guys. Hopefully this will inspire you. We'll get to see more videos of the ME-262, or even out at one of the fields which I visit to film events. But until next time, guys, happy flying, and we'll see you next time. Plugging in. Yeah, that's really good on the CG.
Yep.
Excellent. I'll get some sunnies on.
Okay.
Some spectacles on. And we'll go fly it.
Nervous? No, should be fine.
No.
Big girl. Jesus
We
Christ.
checked our controls
I
that
mean,
many times.
You're not short, you're 6 foot, and this thing looks big.
It's a big aeroplane.
Gyro's on off and all that.
Gyro's off at the moment. Righto. Let's go. Hey.
I'm going to come out here at the nick of time actually, we were losing a bit of light.
Yeah, just going behind the cloud. Wow, moment of truth.
Not bad for, like, we've only just been working on it this afternoon, so
It's awesome.
good luck.
Thank you.
Is that trim or is that, or does it feel so heavy? Right.
Not out of control, it's not great.
Yep. That's half throttle.
Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely torqued off really badly to the right on paper.
Oh.
Just those fans working the same way.
Okay, so the torque roll to the right, you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it torques off pretty badly. Like counter-rotating fans would have been good. So it's sort of sensitive on the elevator at the moment. I'm going to try the gyro. Gyro coming on. Nothing awful.
Yeah.
Really nice. Okay, gyro's alright. No oscillations or anything. It's quite nice and responsive still.
Looks good.
Come through for a little path. I don't think I've got the gains up enough on the ground.
Right.
I'm gonna try some flat.
So there was no recommendations for flap the elevator mix, so
Pretty much none really required.
no real pitch change.
No.
It's good.
I'm gonna get some gear down and keep this a nice short flight. It's fast.
Still half.
Yeah. You just stand back a little bit there. Do some tuning with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to get that gyro gain up a bit because it was just all doughy and not really assisting that much. It was still sort of shaking around. I think there's a fair bit of aileron adverse yaw. It's sort of it gets a bit bouncy and tail waggy. So
Right, like a Dutch roll.
gyro would be nice.
Yeah.
So I'll get the gyro settings up.
Yeah.
I think the factory settings were a bit coarse. I had it on less. I had a dual rate and I had it on less.
Okay.
So I had another 15% off what they said.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad I took off on that because it wanted to throw itself in the
It
air.
did. And I wasn't expecting that because the batteries are heavy and they're all the way up as far as you can go.
Yeah.
So it still felt tail heavy with that, or is it just?
It felt a bit tail heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it can tune in a little bit better with the weight a little bit further forward, which is we'll just test with the next set of batteries and see how it goes.
Yeah. Good.
Overall good.
Well done.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it looks good too.
Yeah. See what doesn't want to steer. It's a really rough strip this one too. Kicking the nose up.
Yeah.
That's what happened on takeoff, it kicked the nose.
It did. Yeah. Give you a battery checker with
I
it?
do, yeah.
So that was 3 minutes, not above 10%, but it was 3 minutes just as soon as you applied.
As soon as I applied throttle. Yeah. And then we went over time by about 15 seconds. Batteries are only warm, they're not hot.
Only warm. Okay.
And they're only 50C, they're old tech batteries.
Yep.
Very heavy old tech batteries. %. So yeah, I think those 6,500 batteries would be good for a 4.5, maybe 4 minute flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not hurting the battery at all there where it's at. Yep, 36, 37. So not bad.
Yeah. And in terms of, so there wasn't any pitch change with the flap or anything?
No.
Was it nice? Did you have enough elevator on that when you were coming into the lane?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. It held its nose up quite nicely on the round out.
Yeah.
It sat there really well actually. So definitely got enough elevator travel. I think getting the gyro setting up a little bit stronger will definitely help it.
Was there much trim you had to do for the ailerons or anything?
Yeah, you see it's carrying a bit of trim.
Yeah, yeah, you can see it right on
Quite a lot.
the trailing edge of the right hand side.
So it must have a bit of a twist in the wing somewhere.
Yeah, because that one's not too bad.
So that's 18% on the radio, or 16% it is. So it's a fair bit. I think there must be a bit of a twist somewhere. Or it could be something to do with the torque of both motors spinning the same way.
The same way. But it's unusual. You'd think they would do it counter-rotating.
Yeah. Would make more sense, but anyway.
Hmm.
Still goes alright.
Yeah.
And hold those both down.
Hold those down.
Warning, low voltage.
All right. Throw another pack in at the fight.
I think so.
Yep. And increase the gain on your gyro.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should try and add a bit of weight in the front because these packs are just a little bit lighter. Gets it hits through the trees.
Doesn't it have a funny howl? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely improved it, I think, with a little bit more gyro, but I can do better. I think I'll do an update on that gyro.
Yep.
And get some stick priority stuff happening, and it'll have much more feel then.
Yeah.
Overall,
it's cool though.
It's going to
cool.
start.
Howl. I was surprised by that. It has a like I can only describe the F-18 has a similar sort of howl. To it. That's cool.
It is.
That's quick.
Yeah.
It didn't take much to take off either.
No.
Like I mean, it's bigger than the MiG, and it's comparable to the takeoffs on your MiG.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely up there. It's a weapon.
Very cool. The lights are bright on it too. Jeez.